Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Today. What's on the agenda? If you ask me, there's quite some stuff, to be honest. FA Cup draw happened, so definitely we're gonna discuss that. Obviously, we're gonna talk about a bit of a crunch time for Arsenal that's currently happening because at the moment, Arsenal kinda need to win the games just to stay alive. Let's be real about ourselves. And of course, on top of that, we're gonna talk about some bits and bobs here or there, especially about Roberto Olabe apparently actually happening. It's getting closer and closer. The talks are very positive in that regard. So we're definitely gonna discuss a certain player that actually could come to Arsenal solely because, well, Olabe has good relations with that player. Of course, we have heard that Edu has good relations with everyone, but nothing materialized in that regard. So I would say Olabe is more respected in the community, so I think that could actually be the case. So, if you're excited for today's stream, smash that like, subscribe if you're new around here, get live interactive in the chat. We're gonna discuss lots of stuff today. And of course, if you're watching this as a playback, leave a comment down below. I answer to pretty much every single comment. Big up Nathan in the chat, always here, always on time. Big up my guy, big up Nathan. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing great as well. Monday, not a great day in general, but let's be real. It is what it is at the end of the day. But today I thought we're gonna kick things off with some stuff in general when obviously Arsenal play on Wednesday against Man United, but we're gonna do some talks about that already right now. Apparently, according to rumors, Lenny Yoro, the wonder child of United that chose Manchester United over Real Madrid, which to be honest wasn't the case in general, but it is what it is at the end of the day, could return for the squad to face Arsenal not tomorrow, day after tomorrow on Wednesday. Of course, as I said, Arsenal play on Wednesday against Man United at the Emirates in Premier League, where Arsenal, again, another must-win game. So I really doubt he will start, I really doubt he will play a lot, but only time will tell in that regard. Obviously, boost for United, if you come to think about it, but hey, not gonna play a massive role. Also, in other news, Lisandro Martinez and Kobe Mainoo both will miss the trip to the Emirates on Wednesday through suspension after both received yellow cards against Everton, which is obviously some decent news for Arsenal. Some of some of their more decent players, although Kobe Mainoo was quite average against Everton and everything, won't play. The butcher that has apparently a meat cleaver but feels like he has a loaf of bread instead of a cleaver also is not gonna face Arsenal, which obviously for Arsenal also in that regard is some good news. And some more United news. It feels like I'm a United channel all of a sudden, but there are some more news regarding Arsenal in this regard. Is the fact that Ruben Amorim on Bruno Fernandes's injury said that he has no problem, no injury. He's a guy who doesn't need a lot of rest, so he's prepared to play again. Obviously, he was pictured with an ice around his ankle, so obviously, time only will tell, but Amorim looks pretty damn positive about that he will play in this regard. Nelson loan to be cancelled, Bundesliga clubs. You really think they're gonna cancel Nelson's loan given the fact that Nelson plays almost every single game for them? Do you really think that will be the case? Because he has, in a very decent form, he was cooking against Spurs as well. Although who isn't, to be honest, besides Man City, of course. But I think he's a good form. I don't think it means they should cancel the loan, because there's a big chance that they actually might sign him if he keeps up these performances. Obviously, he needs to improve in the output in GA, but overall, he has had some very decent performances in general. So I'm not sure whether that would be the smartest of moves in this regard. Genuinely. Because he is actually pretty darn decent. Some random news of the day for Arsenal. 14-year-old Max Daumann made his Arsenal under-21 debut against Brighton in Premier League 2 today, becoming the youngest player to feature for the club at that level or equivalent. An incredible achievement for Max. 14 years old, and plays for under-21s. Not sure what to make of this, because Chidobe Martin was like 16 and he was playing with under 18s and 21s, and he was bagging goals left, right and center, and yeah, that ended well, didn't it, for Arsenal? So we'll have to wait and see what's happening in that regard, but definitely for a 14-year-old for play for Arsenal under 21s instantly that get usually call-ups for Arsenal main squad, definitely is massive achievement for him. Not gonna lie, never have seen him play, but obviously only time will tell. But based on the fact that he looks, at least in this picture, stature-wise, build-wise, more physical than quite a few of our under 21, so that could be also the case. And here we go, some proper Arsenal news. Fluminense will not exercise the purchase option for Arsenal's loanee Marquinhos. Well, shock of the world, isn't it? Goes out, scores against Zurich, cries his eyes out, goes on loan to Norwich. In one game gets goal and assist, since then does pretty much nothing. Then goes on loan to Nantes, does nothing, gets called back in January, gets loaned to Fluminense and does nothing also there as well. And to be honest, he played about 4 or 5 games for them even at right back, so nothing much to be expected for that. A player who we should have signed for free, but Edu decided to pay 3 million for him to keep good relations with Sao Paulo, and we since then haven't done any business with Sao Paulo whatsoever, of course. The Brazilian obviously will return to North London, and a new club will be found for him in January. Whether it's going to be a loan or Arsenal will going to try and force a sale remains to be seen, of course. But Marquinhos is one of those, well, failed experiments, I guess. I guess it's time. Or he will be the backup for Bukayo Saka. So it will obviously, time will tell, but ultimately at the moment, nobody cares, nobody needs. I guess his time at Arsenal is also pretty much done. If you cannot do it at Norwich, Nantes, even in Brazil at your home, well, you might as well be done and dusted in that regard. This is about Nelson. The report I saw said he only started 3 games. I'm not sure, but they are not happy with his minutes. To be honest, from Arsenal's point of view, that makes sense. The question is, if Bundesliga clubs are interested, to which club will he go? Did you see any reports of a club where he could go? Because at the moment, it's a weird one. He doesn't get enough minutes. He has played 11 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. So let's see how he is looking this season. For Arsenal doesn't count, but for Fulham he played 24 minutes, sub, 16 sub, 21 sub, 13 sub, 22 sub, 22 sub, almost full game in a win, quite a few, 71 minutes in a loss and 62 minutes in a draw. So overall, I'm not gonna lie, he's not getting too many minutes in that regard if we're looking at it this way, because obviously something has changed, because in the beginning of the season he was playing only random ass cameos, but for the last 4, well, technically 5 if you count in the EFL Cup, for the last 5 games he has started. So this is a very interesting one, because compared to the first 6 games, since then he has played 3-4 times more. So I don't know whether it's just a time until Marco Silva lets him start or what, but ultimately it is a bit of an iffy one, isn't it? Because Reece Nelson probably would have been loaned out with some guaranteed minutes, and in the last 5 games he has gotten them, but overall he hasn't had that many minutes, because he has had 417 minutes overall. That's less than 40 minutes, to be honest, a game, which definitely is not great. Less than 40 minutes a game. Not good at all, to be honest. If he had some guarantees and some bonuses and everything, that's definitely not going into his favor, if you ask me. Maybe something will change till January. Obviously, there are still about 7-8 games to be played. His fortunes might change, and Arsenal might change their mind depending on how Fulham use him for these next 7-8 games, right? But overall, yeah, it could be the case. Report just said his representatives have interest from a number of Bundesliga clubs. He was on loan in Bundesliga as well, wasn't he, at some point? Wasn't he? Or am I tripping here? I think he was on loan to Bundesliga at some point. I know ESR was, but I think Reece Nelson was as well, wasn't he? I know he was at Feyenoord. He was at some random clubs. And he was obviously there, but I think he was in Bundesliga as well, wasn't he? Yeah, he was at Bundesliga. I know he was at Hoffenheim, wasn't he? Yeah, he was at Hoffenheim, but that was, 6 years ago. That's actually kind of wild. In those 23 games, actually had somewhat decent performances. The thing is, though, in those 23 games, he has played not that many minutes. in those 23 games when he was on loan, which is very, very interesting. But he played all across the map at the time. He scored against Nürnberg, against Eintracht, against Bayer Leverkusen at the time, who were bad at the time as well, by the way. Augsburg, scored against Hertha, against big teams, didn't do nothing. But overall, I must admit, Reiss Nelson's that loan is a 50-50 one. We'll have to wait and see what's gonna happen. Hopefully, it's Leipzig. Wait. You say this, right? RB Leipzig. Let me check this because this is a very big one. RB Leipzig. Where is it? The striker. They have Nusa as a winger, and that's about it. Javi Simons, technically. And that actually doesn't bode well because they play 4-4-2 with two strikers. They play Baumgartner on the right and Nusa on the left. It kind of transitions in somewhat 4-3-3 at times or 3-5-2. But overall, yeah. If he goes to Leipzig, how you're saying, you hope that it is Leipzig, for example, there is a place for him, because if you just base solely on the players they have 4 strikers, one of them is injured. They have Elmas is injured as well, unknown return. Same goes for Simons, who is unknown is return, and also Odrago, which means they are quite lacking in midfield/winger department. And they have only one out-and-out winger. Technically, Openda can play there, and sometimes Šeško comes in from the side. But overall, there are possibilities for Reiss Nelson. If he would go loan to Leipzig, as you are hoping for this, he actually has some places to go. Wait, let's check this. Reiss Nelson, Bundesliga, 2024. Reiss Nelson, November 11th. Understands Reiss Nelson is frustrated with his current situation, is looking to secure a permanent move in 2025. Nothing too much. Viewed the Nelson games played for Fulham, fouls, shots committed. Reiss Nelson reportedly in talks with his short loan move to Fulham. That was the last year, that's nothing. I don't see anything about Bundesliga though, at the moment at least, currently. Because he was at Hoffenheim 6 years ago, but that means nothing. Look at this. Reiss Nelson, Ronaldinho-esque moment against Spurs. And that is put out by Sky Sports. What the hell are they smoking? Look. Reiss Nelson, Ronaldinho-esque moment against Spurs. Holy crap, the PR on this is nuts. Kid you not. Holy crap, the PR on this is nuts. Ronaldinho-esque move. What the hell am I reading? Holy crap. He control across with his back. Well, dude, I get it, but Ronaldinho-esque. Holy crap. That's like, for example, I bend it. I basically, when I play sometimes, I pass five defenders and I bend it far corner with my right foot, and I get called Messi-esque. That's just wild, genuinely wild for me. I know it's a great thing, it's a very eye-catching thing in general, but to call it just the fact that Nelson and Ronaldinho being put in the same sentence just feels hella weird to me, I'm not gonna lie. When I throw a paper in the bin, I say, exactly! Who didn't do that in childhood when you were throwing paper balls in the bin and it's called Kobe and it went in and everything? That was one of the coldest moments at the time, when especially when you were playing against friends and you had something on the line and stuff like that. Basically, that means I can play in the NBA, right? And stuff like that. But anyways, let's move swiftly forward. Some other news. Oh, this one. Let the excuses begin from Top Gunners. This is specifically if any Top Gunner, Arteta OnlyFans or Arteta Sexual is watching this. Because, yes, Sam Barrett will referee Premier League clash against Manchester United on Wednesday. Here is the big one. Liverpool fan Jared Gillett will be involved in his 5th Arsenal game of the season, and he will be on VAR. Excuses already are brewing if Arsenal don't get a result. If there is one questionable decision that goes to VAR and Arsenal don't get the right call in, well, Top Gunner's eyes, this 100% will be used as an excuse. I can guarantee you this already. But how about you win the game despite refs being against you or despite already making narratives in this regard? Because I get it. When you have played 14 games in Premier League, and for about 33% of them, even more at this stage, 37% of them, there has been one certain referee on them, something feels a bit sus. I'm not gonna lie. But if this is, after the game, if Arsenal don't get a result, if it's a draw or God forbid a loss, and if I see this as an excuse, it will be hell on earth from here. Genuinely. For me, on Wednesday, Arsenal need to destroy United 3-0, 4-1, score at least 3 goals and not let them score more than 1. We all know that United haven't won at Emirates since 2017. It's been 7 goddamn years. Rashford likes to score at Emirates. We also all know that. So it's similar like Harry Kane scoring a penalty when he was at Spurs against Arsenal in North London Derby. Something similar in that regard. So we kind of can make an assumption that there is a possibility that Rashford is going to score. Despite that, Arsenal need to score at least 3-4 goals because currently United are nowhere near to being ready to play Amorim style of football, right? However, there will be a counterpoint in a bit later, but we're going to look at it later on. I need 3-0 minimum, 100%. We are unbeaten at Emirates as well this season, aren't we? So that also is very, very good in general for Arsenal. That also plays in our hands. But overall, Arsenal are unbeaten at Emirates. United haven't won at Emirates since 2017. They have a new manager. They're trying to figure things out. Obviously, United, this is one of the worst times to play Arsenal as well for United because they have a new manager. They're trying to figure things out. And on top of that, Arsenal have found a rhythm and they're scoring goals at all of a sudden. 13 goals in 3 games. So definitely there will be some stuff going on, some juju. Definitely will be something. Something will happen in that game that will raise eyebrows. I can already guarantee you that much. Either a wrong offside call or something. Something is gonna happen in that game. But anyways, also, yesterday we talked about Roberto Olabe, who is very, very, well, apparently is getting closer and closer to signing for Arsenal. That's according to rumors and reports. And Olabe apparently is a concrete candidate to replace Edu. There have been talks held. The things are advancing slowly currently because there is no rush, because it's only for summer and everything. However, there is some rumors that Olabe brought current Arsenal target Alexander Isak to Real Sociedad and then sold him obviously to Newcastle. And the pair still have an excellent relationship. And now the narrative, if Olabe especially signs for Arsenal as the sporting director, there will be this narrative being pushed that they have very good relationships. And since Isak allegedly is one of the top targets, if not the top target for Arsenal next summer, he will play a massive role. And let's be real, sporting director should play a massive role in signing a player, especially if you are quite respected in your field by players, by other teams CEOs and stuff like that. It makes a lot of sense, I'm not gonna lie. But the fact that they already are pushing this narrative half a year before summer window even opens, well, 7 months even, is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. Plus, the thing about him is, he's very injury prone. He is very injury prone. Plus this season, just look, this season Alexander Isak is not also quote unquote lifting mountains, if that makes sense. In 11 games in Premier League, 4 goals, 2 assists. In Carabao Cup, 2 games, 1 goal. And his injury record in general is something very, very rough in terms of Arsenal. It's bad enough that Arsenal already have a very injury-prone back line, and we have injury-prone players all across the pitch. In the attack, we have Jesus. In midfield, we have Jorginho. In the back line, we have Zinchenko, Tierney, Tomiyasu, and someone else. I'm forgetting the name. So we have quite a few injury-prone players all across the pitch in every single position, almost, it feels like. And now, signing him will be rough, because every single season he manages to miss about 7 to 15 games due to some sort of injuries. And this means one of two things. Either Arsenal will sign him and we will fall short, or Arsenal will have to sign him and sign a proper backup. Because signing Isak alone and leaving basically Arsenal high and dry in that regard would be irresponsible. But then the question comes in. If we sign Alexander Isak, right, and he becomes our number one striker, that means Havertz has to hold bench. Well, stands to reason. And that means Havertz is gonna become our secondary striker, isn't it? And that already is giving some sort of a very Jesus vibes, first of all, because he cannot finish consistently. And second of all, those are two very quote-unquote similar type of profile of players to have up top. We need a different dimension up top. So basically, we need someone like Isak, and we need someone a bit different. We cannot have two somewhat similar type of players up top. That again would actually kind of do more harm than good for Arsenal. Because we need to be able to adjust to different formations, different tactics, different opposing sides' defensive tactics and settings and the way they play. Different formations and everything. And if we have two similar type of players up top, it again will do more harm than good. It will hamstring us. Hamstrung us. It will hold us again prisoned of our own, well, madness in that sense. Bin Isak, is he not injured right now? Currently, Isak is not injured, no. He played last weekend, didn't he? Swedish Jesus. Dude, that is a bit rough, but... I'll allow it just because solely based on injuries. Where is Newcastle 1-1 lineups? No, Isak started against Crystal Palace on the weekend when they drew 1-1. He didn't score, he got subbed off, by the way. Eddie Nketiah got subbed on, holy crap. But yeah, he got subbed off. Isak didn't play. Well, Isak played against them. 100%. Look at this. Newcastle against Crystal Palace over the weekend. 1 shot, 0 on target. Only way it's a draw is because Margehi scored an own goal and Daniel Munoz, which is actually a pretty decent right back for Crystal Palace, scored in 94th minute just to save them a draw. Holy crap! Newcastle could have won a game without having a shot on target and having 1 shot overall in the whole game. Oh my god, how they have fallen. They are struggling real rough. And it's no wonder that all of a sudden talks are starting to swirl around about the fact that Bruno Guimaraes might leave in summer, Isak might leave in summer, because those two players, and also Anthony Gordon to some extent, they have some Champions League clauses in their contract as well, that they can leave for Champions League teams for a certain amount, a bit cheaper potentially, and if they are not in Champions League, they cannot fulfill certain objectives in their clauses for bigger salaries as well, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely that is something to be looking at. It's no wonder Arsenal have been linked with him. And now let's check this. Did he play as well? Newcastle, West Ham. Newcastle 2-0 West Ham. Did Isak play? Yeah, Isak played full 90 against West Ham when they lost 2-0. And again, 18 shots, only 2 on target. Against bloody West Ham, which we just destroyed 5-2. Like, Newcastle are struggling really heavily. What? 13 games, 5 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses, 19 points. And Isak is genuinely... Every single game he steps on a pitch, basically, he's trying and hoping he can break his duck. Basically. Because he cannot do anything currently on the pitch. That is how bad it has become for them. That's how bad it has become for them. Isak cannot even get a shot on target. Newcastle are struggling pretty heavily. And if they keep this up, Eddie Howe actually could get sacked. He actually could see the sack at some point very, very soon. Newcastle won 3-1 against Forest. Isak scored in that game. Okay, cool. I want to check the upcoming Newcastle games. That for me would be a bigger indication of what we could expect from Isak. So Newcastle play Liverpool on Wednesday. That will be fun, wouldn't it? That will be hella fun. Newcastle are struggling, Liverpool are flying, but playing at St. James Park definitely is not easy, first of all. So that will be a very rough and very interestingly tough game. Look at UCL Villa, Unai Emery. Well, we all know that Unai Emery is a cup coach. He does well in cups. In the league, it's not the best of things for him. On top of that, whenever he coaches a team, he does well in a team where massive success is not an obligation and is not heavily demanded, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Because his best achievements, for example, winning 3 times in a row Europa League with Sevilla, was at a time where nobody expected Sevilla to win La Liga, nobody expected Villarreal to win La Liga. But with those teams where there is less pressure, as long as he gets top 6 and stuff like that, and on top of that he can win cups, he's golden. And he is a distinct cup manager, and he did great in the Europa League. He's a Europa League manager for sure. He also in Champions League got to semi-finals with that Villarreal squad. So for me, that Unai Emery in Premier League, yes, he is mudded. Villa are struggling in that regard. But ultimately, in the league, in general, right, it's not that bad. It's genuinely not that bad, because Villa at the moment are 12th. Villa are 12th in the league at the moment, which is genuinely not great. Aston Villa are 12th in the league, which is already a bit shambolic for Unai Emery. However, the thing is, they are doing well in the Champions League, which definitely will be a bit different story for them. They're 12th in the league, 5 games, 4 draws, 4 losses. Obviously, they are on 19 points with Man United, behind most of the teams with 19 points, only due to goal difference. And to be honest, one win takes... They are only 4 points behind City, by the way. So they are not that far off. If you look at it that way, they are not that far off, genuinely. We could, but I don't want Tielemans at Arsenal. I think that time has passed. That hype and everything has passed for Tielemans to join Arsenal, in my opinion. That time has genuinely passed. I think it's not for Arsenal anymore. It's genuinely not for Arsenal anymore. We are outgrown Tielemans to some extent. Yes, he's a good player, a great playmaker, good shot on him and everything, but I think we have outgrown him to some extent. But now look at this. Aston Villa, 5 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, 10 points. So basically they are fighting to be in this top 8 role. In the top 8 to automatically qualify. And knowing how Sporting are struggling, Brest is 50-50, Lille, but obviously from behind you have Munich, Benfica, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, well, City depends, Juventus still coming. Real Madrid are 4 points behind. Yo, if Real Madrid keeps sucking, quote unquote sucking in Champions League, they actually might not stay in. That is how wild it is. But they will. It's Real Madrid, let's be real. The pedigree is gonna come in thick and fast at some point. They gonna click at some point. Just the question is when. Obviously, they are ridiculed by injuries. Mbappe has unbalanced the whole team, and Ancelotti is struggling. There are also talks about Ancelotti being sacked at Real Madrid, by the way. But ultimately, for now, we'll see what happens. But Ancelotti promised that Real Madrid is gonna be in the finals at the end of the season, so we'll have to wait and see about that for sure. But yeah, we'll see. Personally, I'm not gonna lie. Let's have a bit of a serious talk here. I'm kinda past the Gyökeres hype. Yes, in summer I wanted Gyökeres. Currently, I don't want Gyökeres anymore. Do I want Isak? I at the moment would rather sign Isak than Gyökeres. However, for me, I think for Arsenal, I think both Isak and Gyökeres at the moment are not the ones anymore. It feels very weird to say this, as much as we need a striker. But for example, currently I much rather actually sign Vlahovic, John Duran. I'm not gonna lie, to some extent Benjamin Šeško, maybe Luis Openda even, although he doesn't fit the style we play. However, if with the movement and everything, it actually could work if we coach him properly. Who else is there? Like, there are some strikers I would take, and I kind of am past a bit that Isak and Gyökeres hype, because Isak is quite a bit injury prone. I get it, although he's still quality. It obviously remains to see what's gonna happen with that. So it's a bit weird one, because I wanted to see Gyökeres at Arsenal quite a bit in summer, but I'm not sure. There's just something about him, not specifically currently because of his form and how we destroyed Lisbon and everything, despite the fact that he scores every single game almost, and he destroyed Man City and stuff like that. There is something that doesn't convince me. I know it sounds weird, I know it sounds dumb, but there is something inside me that says that he actually might not be the one everyone needs, at least at Arsenal. And same goes for Isak. For Isak, the biggest issue for me personally with Isak, right, is injuries. Because the way we create chances and the amount of chances we create, there's no shadow of a doubt Isak will bang at Arsenal goals. He will get 20 or something goals at some point, definitely. The staying fit part, that for me is the biggest issue. That for me with Isak specifically is the biggest issue. And 100 million plus for injuries is a bit rough to say the least. Let's just put it that way. I think Duran is the best bang for a buck with proper ceiling. Yeah, that could be the case, definitely, 100%. Vlahovic wages are too much. How much is Vlahovic on, by the way? Vlahovic, there's no way he earns around what? That's about 320 grand a week. No chance in hell he's that much at Juventus. For what? Where is Juventus? Juventus. There's no way he's on 300 grand a week or something stupid like that. Let's put GBP, the Great British Pounds. 355 grand. That is gross, by the way. That's not net, that is gross. He has 2 years on his deal, though. That is 2 years on his deal left. 355 grand a week. Holy, wait. So, wait. If he gets that much, there has to be some output there. There isn't, actually. 12 games, 6 goals. In Champions League, 4 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. Okay, that's a bit better. But 12 games, 6 goals. Currently, he is injured and expected to return in a week with a muscle injury. That is actually not great. Overall balance. Wait. I want to see this. In Serie A, 185 games in Serie A. How is he looking? This season, 12 games, 6 goals. Okay, cool. Last year, in 33 games, 16 goals, 3 assists. I'm sorry, but if you get paid 350 bags a week, that seems hella extensive amount to pay for only 16 goals as your main striker, isn't it? Or is it just me? Because I get it, for Fiorentina he was bagging 21 goals, 17 goals, 4 assists. Okay, I get it. But in 21 games, by the way, 17 goals. But in 33 games to bag 16 goals, that seems hella quite a bit of price tag to pay a week for you to be basically an average Serie A striker. Genuinely to be an average Serie A striker. Because if we take Osimhen, right? Remember these numbers. 6, 16, 10, 7, right? 6, 16, 10, 7. 6, 16, 10, and 7. Let's look at this overall. Overall balance. 6, 16, 10, and 7. Obviously in Turkish league at the moment, he in 8 games 6 goals 3 assists. He's balling there because he's heads up above everyone else almost. In Serie A, see, Osimhen, first season okay, then next season 14-5, 22-23 season Napoli wins the league with Kvaratskhelia and everyone 26-5. Next season 15-3 with him being injured for quite some time. And even at his arguably worst, his first season, even at his worst seasons at Napoli, he has done better than Vlahovic in general, which is also very, very, very weird. And he actually is not getting paid that much. Osimhen doesn't. He gets about what? Osimhen's salary. Osimhen's salary. How much is Osimhen earns only 180,000 a week in pounds. 180,000. So he earns half of what Vlahovic earns, but scores twice as much almost as Vlahovic. That cannot fly in general. Obviously, Lautaro Martinez just signed a new deal, I think, but he's the cream of the crop in Serie A in general because he's actually doing well there. He's doing well in Serie A. 217 games. In Serie A, he's actually done pretty decent. Like, every single game, every single season, look. First season, he joined 6-2, but since then, 14, 17, 21, 21. Adds assists. 24 and 6 last season, and Inter won Scudetto. And this season already in 11 games, 5 goals, 3 assists. So 8 points out of 11 games. He is the proper bagsman. Now the thing is, if he could learn to finish on consistent basis and score at least even 20% of the chances he misses during games, he could easily score 30 goals a season. That is also one of the biggest drawbacks for me with Lautaro Martinez. Genuinely not consistent enough. And how much is Lautaro Martinez on? 9 million per season. He's on 9 million per season. He earns 300,000 a week. Kinda makes sense given that you bag every single season those amounts of goals. That actually makes some sort of a sense. He'll end up like Haaland now. We don't play those balls in behind and run in tons of space. Exactly. He will end up like that. Gyökeres will end like that. And to be honest, Haaland as well looks lost at the moment. He was the only goal scorer for City in the league who played yesterday. Only one. None of them have others scored. And on top of that, Haaland, as good as he is in the one thing he does, scoring goals, he's useless in everything else. He doesn't open up gaps. He doesn't open up spaces. He cannot pass. He cannot hold up the play and then let the ball go. Unless you deliver the ball more or less to him on a silver platter, more chances than not that he's gonna stay hungry and goalless. And Arsenal do an excellent job on that, shutting him down. Same did Liverpool and everything. And now that they don't have the team that can pass the ball to him, he looks basically like Eddie Nketiah on the pitch. He is technically there, but he does nothing on the pitch. And then that's what it is, I guess. Highest played Serie A player. That is wild for Vlahovic. When you double up on Haaland and play low block, he contributes nothing. Exactly, same will happen with Gyökeres when we play Burnley or Sheffield. Exactly. That is the thing. And Arsenal also, they don't play low block often. But when we do play low block, it's usually against Haaland. And that was the only one, pretty much. And we totally shut him down. He scored that one goal this season and that's it. Besides that, we have kept him quiet in our pockets. He has done nothing against us, not even a shot on target against us besides that. And that is the thing. As soon as you pack the box, play low block, and double up on Haaland or have somewhat physical and capable defender, even man mark him or not, he disappears instantly. And if you add on top of that there's no De Bruyne and he cannot create for himself, he basically is useless on the pitch. Might as well sit him on the bench. And that's why selling Julian Alvarez for Man City was one of the dumbest things they've done. Okay, they sold him, but how about you sign a replacement as well? That's where that Chicky guy really messed up, I think. Because besides Haaland, they have no goal scorers at the moment. Genuinely none. Like, Grealish hasn't scored in like 2 years almost. It's actually wild when you come to think about it. He isn't. I'm gonna give you that much. But to be honest, he's scoring some crucial goals. Like, whenever I see him play, he actually is doing good. Yeah, in La Liga, 15 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. But he doesn't start too often. But he participates in 1/3 of La Liga in goals. In Copa del Rey, 1 game, 2. In Champions League, he's also very decent. He's carrying quite a bit as well. But to be honest, in Atletico Madrid, he doesn't need to do that. Because Atletico Madrid actually have a proper squad. They actually have attackers. If you think about it, they have actually proper squad. No, squad. Where is full squad details? Here it is. If you look at this, they have Sorloth, Griezmann, Simeone, who is balling, by the way, for them as well. They have Angel Correa, Riquelme, Lino from the wings. They don't need Alvarez to bag 20 goals a season. As long as he contributes double-digit goals and nearly double-digit assists every single season, they're golden with him. Because Griezmann still balls out. Sorloth is doing somewhat good as well. Simeone recently is on fire, by the way, for them as well. Yes, he has 10 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, but he has scored some very important goals, plus he's only 21. He will grow into it. That's the thing. As bad as they are, look, Griezmann as well, 15 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. Champions League, 5 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. Griezmann knows when to score. That is the biggest thing about Griezmann. He is somewhat clutch for them as well. And Sorloth as well. Big tall guy, 15 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. In Champions League hasn't scored. That is wild. But overall, they have attack threat from everywhere. Holy crap, he's a journeyman. Sorloth, look at the journey he has had. Holy crap. Anyways, but overall, for Atletico Madrid, it's a bit different. The style they play, the Simeone style, the things he utilizes, he doesn't need his Falcao, Forlan, Jackson Martinez. Jackson Martinez. He doesn't need those players anymore. He actually spreads the goals around as wild as it sounds, as Arsenal used to say, as Arteta used to say. Because as you can see, none of their main strikers, attackers have many goals, assists in 14 games. But if you put them all together, they basically get goals from everywhere. And that is also Atletico Madrid, as weird as they are, the way they play, the way Simeone plays. That is one of their biggest strengths in general, in my opinion. And you can never rule Atletico Madrid out, because Simeone knows how to stink out a game and win a game. That is also the case. Anyways, some other things. Former Arsenal striker Alan Smith, remember the guy? Has urged the club to make a move for AC Milan midfielder as a possible Thomas Partey replacement. That's if he doesn't resign. Now, the big thing is, right? We all know that Thomas Partey is on his last year of his deal, currently playing out of his mind. There are some things, and here it is. He has urged Arsenal to sign. Where is it? Where is the name? I know the name in my head, but I want you to see him as well. To sign. How am I blanking? Reindeer, baby reindeer. Where is he? Reindeers. Oh my god, I cannot find him. What a load of crap this article is. Here it is. Meanwhile, has suggested that Arsenal should look replacement at Reindeers as potential option. Now the big question is, would you take Reindeer at Arsenal? As a midfield option. Would you do that? Currently in Serie A, 12 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. In Champions League, 5 games, 3 goals. Predominantly plays as an 8, as a 6. Can play both. Actually could be very decent with good passing, good attacking. 26 years old as well, by the way. With some decent injury history. No injuries almost whatsoever, which is great for Arsenal, by the way, in that regard. Would you take him at Arsenal? That is the big question for me, for you today, at the moment, currently. Ballers also, exactly. I would take baby reindeer at Arsenal for sure. Also, 30 million euros. I would assume AC Milan would ask for him about what, 50 million? 50, maybe 60. His contract runs out in 2028, so in 4 years, which is not great. Obviously, at the end of next season, in 3 years. But overall, which we need to overpay. But I would love for Arsenal to sign Tijani Reindeers. Baby reindeer at Arsenal actually would be quite fantastic. I would love to see him at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. There is players like Barella, this reindeer. I would love player like that at Arsenal 100%. Would be very interesting to see him at Arsenal. He can play 6, he can play 8, he can play both. Would be actually very interesting. But of course, Arsenal most likely won't sign him. Unfortunately, Arsenal will not sign him. So I guess it is what it is. Anyhow, let's move on to the last part of today. FA Cup draw. FA Cup draw has happened and very interesting games are up for grabs. January 11th, it will be FA Cup time. And here are the third round fixtures. Let's look at this. Newcastle play Bromley. Should be a Newcastle win. Leeds play Harrogate Town. Leeds should be winning, but you never know. Tamworth host Spurs. This could go very interestingly, by the way. Even though Ange has said he wins in his second season something, this is the first game I'm looking at that there actually could be an upset. Because you know, whenever you go to these smaller teams, I'm not even talking about Championship or League 1. I'm more talking about League 2 or League Nations League type of teams. They always play this very rough, tough, old school type of way that really doesn't suit the so-called big club modern football type of way they play. And it genuinely sometimes lives up to major upsets. Full on lives up to major upsets. So this for me could be very interesting. Tamworth versus Spurs. Anyways, Leyton Orient play Derby County. Man City versus Salford. This is an interesting one because let's be real. Man City should be winning with their eyes closed against them. But currently the form they are in, I wouldn't put anything past them. That is the big thing. And can you imagine if Salford actually win against Man City? Even on penalties. Can you imagine that? That actually would be kinda wild. Okay, back to baby reindeer. Problem with reindeer is his lack of physicality and in some of the big important games he's that is the case. I totally get that, I understand that, and I'm fully up with you for that. But the thing is, we had a chance to sign Douglas Luiz, we didn't. We had a chance to sign Caicedo, and we didn't. We had a chance to sign Lavia, and we didn't. We had a chance to sign Onana, and again, we didn't. We had a chance to sign quite physical, tough, big midfielders as number 6s who actually could impose their will on opposing sides. And we didn't. So currently we are in this position where either we have to pull a rabbit out of our hats or we have to go for players like Barella, Reinders, and players like that to kind of maybe mix and match the midfield and the team. Now, Reindeer, most likely for about 80 to 90% of the season, he would be good. In some games, he definitely would go missing, most likely, but that's about every player almost. So, if we can sign him for about 40, 50 million, it's worth taking a gamble on. Because so far, from what I've seen, how he plays and everything in Serie A and stuff like that, he actually is a baller. Yes, he sometimes feels like out of place when you get rough with him and stuff like that, but he has other qualities which our midfield is lacking quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. So it wouldn't be the worst signing in general. Salford will dominate their midfield. You really think Salford will dominate Man City's midfield? It depends if KDB is back. It also depends by January 11th, given how Man City tend to move in transfer market, who will they have signed? Because there's a possibility that by then they have signed someone, they have registered him as well in time, and then it could be a whole different story. Because there are players on Man City's list they actually could sign. But that is also a debate to be had in the future. Nottingham Forest against Luton Town will be interesting, very interesting. I don't think it will be an easy game. Fulham versus Watford. That will be a nuts game, I think. Southampton versus Swansea. If there ever was a game that could go either way, it's one of these ones. Southampton versus Swansea for sure. Sheffield United versus Cardiff City. Okay, cool. Ipswich versus Bristol Rovers. Ipswich should have a field day. Brentford versus Plymouth. This is a nuts one. Good day for Pieface going out. But Brentford will do them. The question is, given the latest performances for Plymouth, Wayne Rooney's job is under scrutiny and under questions. The big question is, will Wayne Rooney be still at the charge by the time they play Plymouth? Because there's still more than a month ago and there's lots of games to be played, so he can easily get sacked by then. So this will be a very interesting game to look at in that retrospect. But to be honest, Brentford should be winning this easily. Now some more interesting game. Villa versus West Ham. 100% Lopetegui won't be at West Ham by that time. I kind of have a feeling he's gonna get the sack very, very soon. I think one more game where they get smashed, destroyed, ruined, and he's gone. Let's be real. The question is, who will they bring in place? That is the biggest question still to this day. Villa should be winning this game, also due to the fact that Unai Emery is a cup coach and he knows how to coach teams in cups, and he goes far in every single cup most of the time he's in it. So, should be an easy pickings. Bristol Rovers versus Wolves will be an interesting one, because Wolves should be winning this game. Technically, realistically, given that it's an away game, it's a championship side and everything, definitely won't be walk in the park for them. Wolves are very hit and miss as well recently. Yes, they can score goals, but they can concede on times as well. They're kind of recovering their form recently, but again, there's still something left to be desired overall. So Wolves versus Bristol will be very interesting in that game. Of course, Arsenal face Man United, which is actually very nice again. January 11th, another game in London. So that means besides the game we play against Brighton away till January 27th or 25th, something like that, we don't leave London. Genuinely, all games are at home or in London. Only game that's not in London for Arsenal is against Brighton, and that's January 4th or something like that. Besides that, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, League, Champions League, all is in London until January 25th. So we face United then. And that game will be completely different to game we're gonna play in 2 days, I think. Because currently United are still learning the team, learning Amorim and all that stuff, and they're trying to get each other together and realize what is what. However, in January 11th, it will be in more than a month. That means that United will actually have kicked into gear. They should be figured at least most of the stuff out with Amorim. And that game will bring totally different game and totally different outcome overall. Yeah, I saw. I saw that Jorginho said that Arsenal's team should be winning the league because Arsenal have a better team than Liverpool. Something he implicated something like that, and the reason we lost the league was lack of consistency. And he's happy with Havertz, which is very worrying that he's happy with Havertz. Big up Alemayehu, big up. Slot smells stinks. He's just lucky as hell. He would have no chance against fully fit Arsenal Syrian. That is, you could make that argument. But also, in the first half we played against them at home, we should have scored about 3-4 goals and the game would have been done by then. And that also is the case. So we can talk about the fact that there's not enough, there's injuries, there's lack of consistency from Arsenal or Real Madrid or stuff like that. But also, as always, Arsenal managed to shoot ourselves in the foot. That is also, you have to take that into account. However, you cannot deny that Liverpool are lucky to some extent currently till this stage. And I'm talking not just about maybe avoiding injuries, which is a big plus for them. Obviously, Konate is injured at the moment till end of year and everything, and there are other smaller injuries here or there for them. However, the performances also don't add up to the results. Similarly like Arsenal, in the beginning of the season, we were winning, drawing games, and we were winning games where we should not win. We were drawing games where we should not draw. And that is the same case with Liverpool. They're winning games where they look very, very poorly, where they have no imagination in the attack, yet at the same time they manage to squeeze out a win, which is obviously a necessity if you are going for a title and if you want to win. When the things are not going your way and you are struggling, you need to get the points on the board. The thing is though, Liverpool at some point will drop points. Let's be real, that is inevitable. The question is, will Arsenal capitalize on that? Because if Liverpool drop points and Arsenal drop points at the same time, it's basically a moot point and nobody cares. However, if Liverpool drop points and Arsenal close the gap, and the more we close the gap on Liverpool, the more stressful it will become for Liverpool, of course. So that is also a big thing, because currently it's very interesting. It also, Chelsea, you cannot rule them out. Yes, Chelsea are right there with us. They have two squads. They have two and a half squads. They can play one squad in cups, one squad in Premier League. Plus their closest backups, they can rotate as well into Premier League teams, not just playing them in the cups and Champions League and stuff like that. So Liverpool are the ones to watch out for sure. The thing that worries me about Chelsea, well, Chelsea should be worried about, is the goalkeeping situation, because the goalkeeper situation there, they have shambolic, very shambolic. And Chelsea also will suffer a drop-off. Chelsea is one of those teams, for me, that can pepper goals all over the place, but they will concede goals also all over the place. And at some point, the drop also will come to them. How they're going to bounce from that, rebound from that, also will be a big indication. However, the way Maresca has built up this team this season is already a big testament of the future to come at Chelsea, in my opinion. Especially with the two squads he's managing and everything. It's rough. It's tough for him for sure. But where they are at the moment, it is very, very scary. Exactly. Enzo is on fire. Maresca has unlocked him, I'm not gonna lie. Action Jackson is also, yes, he was stinking out the place when he just arrived, but currently he's on fantastic goal-scoring form. Don't take this out of context. He's on fantastic goal-scoring form. He's missing some chances, but he is scoring chances he was missing last year. And as long as he keeps doing that, he keeps scoring these chances, more chances than not that Chelsea will pick up points slowly but steadily. Whether it's going to be a win or a draw all remains to be seen, but they definitely are doing really nicely at the moment. Big testament to what Maresca can do with the amount of players he has to manage all the time. I'm not gonna lie. But all remains to be seen. All remains to be seen. But one thing, if Chelsea or Liverpool as finish above Arsenal, Arteta has to go. No questions asked already. Arteta needs to win Champions League or Premier League for me, in my eyes. In general, to stay. But if we even finish second behind Liverpool, or third behind Chelsea or Liverpool, he has to go. Don't give a crap if he wins a Carabao Cup or FA Cup. Yes, cups are nice, but that is regression in general. Bin him off. That is also, for me, that is a weird one to say, but that is the case. Anyways, what other games we have? Chelsea versus Morecambe, that's easy for them. Leicester versus QPR will be an interesting game. Palace versus Stockport, easy day for Crystal Palace. Hull City versus Doncaster, that's a random one. Bournemouth versus West Brom. Interesting. He knows if he gets top 4. That is the case, but it shouldn't be the case. Because if we finish behind Chelsea and Liverpool or whoever the teams that were behind us last 2 years, that is instantly a regression of the season and of the players and on the form and on the manager instantly. And to the fact that how we acted this summer, and to on top of that the fact that what we did this summer, we did nothing to close the gap to City. We let every other team to close the gap to us and City. And now we're paying the price. We cannot take advantage of City's injury crisis currently because we were struggling in the beginning of the season. We cannot catch Liverpool. Liverpool are 9 points clear at the moment. Arne Slot is flying with the team as well. Obviously, Arne Slot is coaching very strong Liverpool side to some extent. Like, obviously, Van Dijk, Salah, and players like that, a bit twilight of their careers, but Salah is still one of the best players in Premier League. Van Dijk, one of the best defenders in Europe, still. Obviously, Alisson injured, but Kelleher is one of the... to be honest, Kelleher is top 5 goalkeeper in Premier League currently. Without shadow of a doubt, Liverpool have 2 top-notch goalkeepers. And Mamardashvili also is fantastic, to be honest, the guy they signed. Luis Diaz is generally in massive form. They're scoring goals and everything. Exactly. He inherited a team with 5 world-class players, but there also is the case. The way it has clicked, it should not have clicked this quickly. They are also getting lucky with injuries, with the games they're playing, with the outcomes of the game, some goals they score and not concede and stuff like that. So when the tides are gonna turn a bit and there will be a drop-off, that's inevitable, let's be real. The question is, can he recover from that? Can Slot pick up the team once they start to fall down a bit? And for example, Arsenal start to catching up to them. Then it will be the real test for them. But ultimately, he has proven winners. Trent, Konate, of course, Van Dijk, Alisson, also Kelleher, Salah, even Luis Diaz from Portuguese league, Darwin Nunez and everything. Yes, they are not the greatest, for example, Nunez, but he's still a decent player. He's the same team that was on the quad charge last season. I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's not a surprise, but the way they are at the moment, that is a bit of surprise. The way they're playing and how they are pretty much destroying, not maybe by results and everything or the performances, but that they are picking up points consistently. They're not dropping points. And in Champions League, it's generally a joke, running over Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen and teams like that. It's actually insane. Obviously, they lost 1 game this season, and that was against Nottingham Forest for peeps' sake, and drawn 1 game, and that was against Arsenal at the Emirates. Obviously, only time will tell whether this hot start is gonna do them good or no. That only time will tell, and of course, Premier League season is a marathon, not a sprint, so we'll have to wait and see. But also, lots of stuff depends on January. If they invest money properly, given that they didn't spend pretty much no money whatsoever in summer, and they invest in properly, it might be over already. Despite the fact that even if we close the gap. It depends what they do in January as well, quite massively. Anyhow, what else is here? Everton versus Peterborough. Norwich versus Brighton will be an interesting game. Millwall versus Dagan Red. What the hell is that team? Dagan Red. Anyone know this team, please? Preston, Charlton, Reading, Burnley, Exeter, Oxford, Sunderland, Stoke, Borough, Blackburn, Birmingham, Lincoln, and Liverpool host Accrington Stanley. Oh, for peeps' sake. Accrington Stanley. Obviously, Arsenal are playing against Man United, which will be a completely different game compared to Wednesday's game, 100%. But yeah, I think I have covered everything I wanted to cover today. Of course, tomorrow we're going to talk about the preview for United game, so that should be fun. Don't forget to tune in for that. But for today, that will be it from me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Big up Nathan, big up Ale Mayehu and other guys who tuned in, who liked, who subscribed, who commented. Big up Pepper. Joins when I'm closing down. Big up my guy. Dagenham. Oh, Dagenham. Okay, now I get it. Dagan Red just sounds like, I don't know, Tokyo Antlers or something like that from Japan. Big up Pepper. Big up my guy. But yeah, for today I'm gonna close it out. It's past 11 p.m. my time. Oh, you were just lurking. I see. Have a nice meal. Oh, I see. Thank you. Massive thank you for that one. I assume you're gonna have some wild comment afterwards about my take on Isak and Gyökeres, what I talked about midstream at some point. But yeah, anyways, for today that will be it from me, so thank you guys so much for watching. You have been freaking fantastic. Take care, stay safe, like, subscribe, hit that bell. See you all tomorrow for United versus Arsenal preview, and have a great Tuesday tomorrow. Peace out.